It's going to be delayed. Hello, guys.
Yeah, we're here.
Hi, we're here.
So we finally got together now. Talk about this very sensitive topic. I think everybody is going to be excited to hear what you guys say. So am I as well. I mean, like, you've got another great person on this side who's going to be talking to us. Excuse me. You've got this man here. Oh, lovely t-shirt, by the way. We've got this man. Got this man. And we've got this guy here. Firstly, I have to say to everybody watching, thank you for coming to watch, guys. And we came together as people who are trying to condemn. We actually do condemn the xenophobic attacks in South Africa, or any attack to anyone, any individual, anywhere. We just want to say what we're trying to do here is unite everyone. We're trying to show people that through communication, things can be solved just by understanding and listening to the other side. So I think I have to formally start the show off, and I'll introduce myself as well. My name is Siviwe Zincume. I'll be your host for tonight, and we'll be talking xenophobia. Obviously, the show is called Let's Talk, and with my panel down here, we will be talking, hopefully weekly, different topics that relate to us, normal people. Everybody on the panel here, this is not what we do on a daily. This is just us people who feel as if maybe let's talk in our own understanding, not political terms or what, you know what I mean? So if you make mistake, guys, understand. We're just trying to express certain things in our own ways of understanding. So I'll leave it to the guys down here, the panel, to just introduce themselves and explain who they are. I'll start with this gentleman here. That's Wonks.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bongani. I'm Zimbabwean. I was born and raised in Bulawayo. Schooled there. I've lived in South Africa for 5 years. And I'm currently in the UK. I think I've been here for around 11 years now. Yeah. And what I will say today is not representative of everyone, every Zimbabwean, but it's my opinion. So yeah, let's get it on, guys.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next we have, I call him Mr. Bambi.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tshepo Modikwe. I'm originally from Pretoria, South Africa. Yeah, I'm half Tswana, half Shangani. So I'm like a mixed match, you know what I mean? So today we're gonna be talking about the most sensitive issue, but whatever I'm saying is my view. It doesn't represent my tribe or the whole of South Africa. So yeah, this is what
nice one, Mr. Bambi. Next we have Mr. Sello.
Hi everyone, my name is Sello Thornton. I am South African, originally born in Nelspruit, Mpumalanga. Grew up most of my life in Mpumalanga, but also in Johannesburg. Did my high school in Zimbabwe, and also have been in the UK now for 15 years. So from what I've just mentioned, you can see that my history, I've always been a citizen of the world, but also proudly South African. Just like everyone has mentioned, the views I'll be putting across today are my opinion and my understanding, and it's not a representation of South Africa or anyone else out there.
Beautiful, beautiful. Next up we have Sira. Introduce yourself, please.
Good evening. My name is Sindiso Joya. I am South African, born and raised in South Africa. Born in the Eastern Cape, grew up in Cape Town, went to school all over South Africa. Did high school in Kimberley. I'm now based in Scotland, been in the UK just under 10 years. I'm based all the way in Edinburgh at the moment. Yeah, like everyone else has said, whatever I answer or speak about here is my views on what's happening, my views on the topics that we'll be discussing tonight. I don't represent my closer people, South African or Cape Townians. It's just my opinions and what I feel. Yeah, enjoy.
By the way, nice attire, man. Send me some. Next we have Thapelo. You on right now, bro, to speak?
Oh yeah, good evening to the world. Blessings to you all. Yeah, Thapelo. My name is Thapelo from South Africa. Lived there half of my life. Half of my life I've lived here in the UK. Got a father that is Zimbabwean. So I've got family that are from Zimbabwe as well. So we are well integrated in that area. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this topic, this discussion that we're going to talk, and hopefully everyone can join in and we can all, come up with a better resolution to what's happening in the world.
Exactly. Beautiful. And by that note, I just have to say I'm also South African raised. I've lived my life in South Africa and half of my life in the UK. So I'm a man of the world. I love speaking to people. As you can see here, I have to try to keep these under control, which they probably won't listen to me. But guys, as I said, this discussion is all about us trying to express what we feel and what we think. If you have any comments, please comment below on the comment section, and we'll listen to those or we'll see them, and then let's have a discussion. We're not in control here. All of us are talking about this. The first topic of tonight is a general summary. I'd like the panel to actually explain how they feel. Just give us a summary about the attacks that have happened in South Africa recently. I'll start with Bongani as he started the intros as well.
Okay. Yeah, my feelings are mixed, really. I've decided to take a balanced view of the situation. Firstly, I would say I'm on one side I'm disgusted and angry about the killings going on. I focus more on the act of killing itself more than anything else. I understand that people have got problems and people are angry and people believe that whatever their problems are caused by whatever their reasons are. But my biggest problem with the whole situation is where a person goes out to kill someone. It is really a big problem in my heart. It's not just the killings, as in killings in the Xenophobia attacks. It's just the general killings in the. If you just to keep into keep to the topic. Yes, we're talking about xenophobia, but there's a lot of general. The levels and the crime in South Africa really is.
Yeah.
Honest, to me, it's in unprecedented levels, And then secondly, I also believe and understand the other side of people being poor, people being hungry, and people then expressing their anger on other people. And I feel sometimes that they are missing the point where the problems really come from, and then end up doing that they're not supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Definitely, I understand. With you, it's more about the act itself of violence, of hurting another human being, is what you're more focused on. Okay, thank you, Bongani. Next, I'd like to ask Tshepo to actually give us his own general summary. I see you have a pen and paper there for some notes.
Yeah. To be honest, what happened in South Africa for the past few weeks, it's not all right, and it's not for the first time. Killing our brothers and sisters is not okay. But my view I don't see this as a xenophobic attack. I see it as a bunch of criminals who want to tarnish the image of our country, who are hungry, who are lowlifes. I don't see it as a xenophobic attack. Maybe I know some people will slash me for that or with me for that, but that's my opinion. Not the opinion of South Africans. You know what I mean? I don't see it as a xenophobic attack. I see it as a bunch of criminals. And again, what is happening now is not only happening to the Africans only, because the media is saying it's Afrophobia, it's South Africans killing other African nationals. But they don't report that there's other people from Bangladesh, Pakistani, and everything. That's why I say it's not, for me, it's not a xenophobia, and it's not only targeted on African brothers. That's one thing that I want to make it clear to everybody who's watching the show, that it's not only African people who are being targeted. It's everybody. Unfortunately, certain race, they are not attacked, but that does not mean that it's only Africans who are being attacked. We've got other race, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I view it. But again, it's not right. It's wrong. It's wrong.
Not right at all.
It's not right.
It's not right at all.
Whatever you call it, xenophobia, Afrophobia, genocide, or whatsoever. But me personally, it's not genocide. It's not Afrophobia. It's not xenophobia. It's crime.
Thank you. That was a very informative answer there, Tshepo. Thank you very much. Next, we'll have Sello.
Hi, yeah. I mean, first of all, I just want to make it clear to everyone. I do, condemn the xenophobic attacks. Not just because it's xenophobic, but it's human life. Whether it was happening anywhere else in the world, I think we'd still all be condemning it because it's human life being lost. I think the only thing which I'll take from that is it seems Africa as a whole, or the rest of the world, is only showing an outcry because it's because of the reason. So I always ask myself, if this was happening and it was seen as a normal crime, would the whole world actually be, or the rest of Africa, crying out so much, or would it be, oh, that's just South Africa, that's just what happens? And I think it's looking at both sides, that if we take away actually the tag or the reason and just look at it as it's the killing of people, I think that's what we should be more concerned about than saying, oh, it's wrong because they are killed for this reason. I think regardless of why people are killed, it should be just a human life should not be taken away by another human, and that's my opinion on that.
I think we all agree on that one, and I like how there's a certain, I would say, a certain understanding from the people so far with regard to its violence either way. You don't want that act on anyone to happen at any time as well. So next we have Sindiso. Sira, if you can just explain to us what you feel in general about the whole situation, please.
Yeah, I mean, most of the things that I think we feel mutually that have been said by the other guys. Really attack, obviously, to our fellow brothers, our fellow humans, more than just our fellow brothers and fellow Africans, our fellow humans, the human race. I mean, like Sello said as well, no human being should lose their life in the hands of another, especially in a country where the right of life is well established and valued. We can point fingers, we can point at how it started, who started it, who said what, how it actually became what it is. But bottom line is it's wrong, and we are extremely opposed by it and highly condemn what's happened in the recent months. We condemned it back in 2008. We still condemn it now, and hopefully within this panel, not just this panel, but whoever is watching can help assist and come to solutions on how to end this and move forward with a mutual understanding from both ends. Yeah.
That was quite interesting to hear as well, and the fact that you're talking about unity as well and understanding from both ends is very essential. That's what we're trying to do here as well. Next we have Thapelo. Could you let us know what you think about it, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the whole crimes, the whole killings, the whole burnings, the whole disgrace, really, from a human being to another human being, first of all. And second of all, it's another black man to another black man that are doing this. We don't see women partaking in this kind of events. We don't see women shouting this. No, we don't. It's the men that are doing it, and it's to another men. So that brings me to another point as well. The Bible says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So these are the values that we've lost as well when we see these kind of things happening. And realistically, the word xenophobia, I think it's been mediarized. I think it's been advertised so much that it's shading like the whole of Africa in a way, because it's not just South Africa that's killing, and it happens everywhere in Africa. So the word xenophobia, I think it's you know, I think it's, you know, put a name on Africa itself, because we get Africans, presidents that are replying to this. We get people from different nations replying and talking about this kind of event. So I think, yeah, it's disgraceful. Humanity. That's where I stand in this kind of situation.
Thank you very much, Thapelo. I think we've kind of like got a basis of what our panel thinks about the whole event, and it's more violence and just why is humanity doing this. It's not just about South Africans, you know. Do you guys agree that it's getting bigger than that? It's not just foreigner to foreigner. It's the people themselves. It's violence, actually. When does the violence stop? Panel, I'd just like to stop us at, before we carry on. I'd just like to mention to everyone watching that on the panel, as you can see, we have a lot of males. It's all males, actually. We did ask a lot of people. We invited a lot of females to come on board to be on the panel. We invited a lot of people from different nationalities, importantly, to get onto the panel, and most people did not come forth. We're hoping that maybe next time we have a debate of some sort, that we have more people coming into, because we'd like to have a very diverse panel, as we like to say. So I think hearing a female's perspective is very important on certain topics. So to anyone watching, just realize that we did actually try to get other people on board, and I think maybe people, since it's such a sensitive time, people don't want to come on board. So I'd like to especially thank the panel here, who have actually were brave enough to come and want to be here. Thank you very much, guys. On to the second topic, very interesting. I'd like to point this one first to Mr. Sello. The question is, what is xenophobia? What is xenophobia?
Well, I mean, I think there's one line being used where it's xenophobia. I mean, the definition of xenophobia is, first of all, is breaking the word down. We all know what a phobia is. You know, it's a fear of something. You know, so then you got xenophobia, which has been classed as the fear of a foreigner, or a fear of something which is foreign to you, you know? And I find the definition quite weird, that if we're saying it's a fear of foreigners, as South Africans, or as, not South Africans, but as the people who are actually doing these acts, are they doing it out of fear of that person? You know, or is it just something else? So that's why I've always had a problem with the tag xenophobia or Afrophobia. I really don't think it looks at the situation, or it actually gives it the right title to speak of. So yeah, I'm totally not with using those terms at all. I think we should be looking at the core problem instead of trying to give it a title.
Interesting. I mean, like, recently, I remember speaking to you about this, and you were saying the name phobia is fear. So what are South Africans really scared of? Or if this were not South Africans, what the person committing the crime, what are they scared of? Do you know what I mean? I realized, Tshepo, you said something to me earlier when it comes to the description of xenophobia. Do you believe like it's a fear, or do you think it's hate?
I don't think it's a fear, and I don't think it's a hate. It's got different elements. Why I'm saying that? Because something like this is not for the first time it happens in Africa. And I want to ask myself a question. Like, for instance, a lot of Ghanaians, they were thrown out of Nigeria. But I want to research and find out, what did they call it? Did they call it xenophobia by that time? Or this xenophobia is just being used in South Africa? And Tanzania as well, it did send people from Guinea away, you know, but it was not violent, but they were chasing them away. And the one from Nigeria, the one that I just mentioned from Nigeria, when they chased those people from Nigeria to Ghana, back to Ghana, some of those guys died along the way. So I just want to find out, did they call it xenophobia? Or, you know, I don't know, or maybe it's xenophobia because South Africa, or what, I don't know, you know?
That's an interesting one. Does anybody have anything to say and reply to that, or to what Tshepo is saying?
Yeah, personally, I think the word xenophobia, as we said, is a fear of, I think, a foreigner, we said. But then that is the fear. It's not the act. You know what I'm saying? The act, in my opinion, is genocide. It is the only problem is that this is not viewed as genocide because it's on a small scale. It's viewed as xenophobia because a few people have died. And we look at Rwanda, the hundreds of thousands of people that died. We find it befitting to call it genocide. You know, a fear should not always lead to you killing someone. You know, the act of killing someone is murder, or in this case, the group of people killing other people. The real term for that is genocide. So we shouldn't look at it as in, oh, it's just 7 people who died. So because it's 7 people, then we'll just call it xenophobia. Xenophobia is just a phobia, and then the act is genocide. We don't want to use that term, but if you're going to be specific about stuff, that's what it is.
Definitely. I think you have a good, valid point there. I'd like to ask one thing. Do you think if maybe it was labeled as a criminal act, that we'd have this big eruption on social media, on media? Do you think tagging the names, xenophobia, made it actually worse?
Yeah, I think the thing is, sorry, just on the previous question prior to Bongani's answer, which is straight on point. I mean, the word xenophobia itself, I mean, it's been explained differently. I mean, most of us are saying fear, and if you look at it, maybe understanding of the word itself, it's an intense or irrational dislike of people from another country. So if you look at the word, if someone dislikes something, they act upon what they dislike. It's going to be violent. It's going to be that of a kind nature. So so it's more of a dislike more than of a fear. And they're acting not out of fear, but out of dislike, if that makes any sense. So, I mean, the word xenophobia, it's either fear, dislike, or irrational dislike, or intent. That's what it is. But if you look at the other explanations of it, essentially, it's an act of dislike. So therefore, they dislike people from other countries, hence they act in the way they did. Not because they fear them, because they don't like them. And the reasons why they don't like them will uncover, obviously, as the discussion goes on today.
That's a very valid point, and it was coming on to my next question actually. It's xenophobia, as most people would term it. We shall use that term. I mean, it's of the foreigner. It's been, as you said, fearful or disliking the foreigner, right? what's happened is recently, I've been on social media, and certain people mention that it's not just foreigners whereby the act of xenophobia happens. In South Africa, it happens all the time. If you're from a different province, sometimes you dislike a Sotho, or you dislike a Zulu, you dislike a Xhosa man. Would you call that xenophobia as well, or would you just say it's South Africans disliking each other? Thapelo, can you give me a slight answer to that one? Then we'll go to Sello, please.
Well, yeah, the word xenophobia, as we talking about it right now, you know, let me add both sexes involved in this, because they're both partaking in the spreading of the word, talking about it, obviously trying to help. Everything is to do with us as humanity and stuff like that. So this says like this: some girls don't like let's say Nigerians, and some Nigerian girls don't like Congolese, some Congolese don't like Ivory Coast. You know what I'm trying to say? So realistically, that's kind of the word term xenophobia as it is spread right now in the media. That is xenophobia. True or false?
You see that one. I mean, like, your explanation is on the same wavelength, but then with this time you're talking about the act, because it leads to violence, as we've seen recently. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to do.
The word xenophobia is the fear of another man in a different, from a country, right? From a different country. So basically, you're kind of like.
I'll give it to Bongani, because I think Bongani wanted to say something quickly before you forget, Bongani.
You know what is strange about the South African incident, or whatever, what's happening there?
Yeah.
That's why what the other brother was saying, that it's more of criminal, because you find that it's not pure. Well, let's use the word xenophobia. There are people like the Tswanas, okay, who are not being targeted. They are safe. We have people like there's some white people. They're not being targeted, but they're also foreigners.
People,
you know,
from Lesotho. Sorry to add on, Lesotho and Swaziland, they are not attacked as well.
Yeah. So there's also that. We also have that question, that why these particular people, you know. I don't have the answer to that, but I also want to know.
I've got the answer to that.
Sello?
Yeah. I think you would know from our history that South Africans, or Southern Africa, you've got originally the Ngunis and then the other tribes. But don't forget that, you remember Swaziland, it's Swatis of Nguni origin. So we more or less speak the same culture. I'm from Mpumalanga, Nelspruit. I speak Swaziland, although I'm not in Swaziland. That whole region speaks Swati. So our traditions are the same. Our food is the same. Everything is the same, you know. In Swaziland, they use a different currency, but it's pegged onto the rand. It's not that different. Same goes to Lesotho. You've got Sothos in South Africa, their heritage is of Lesotho. Same with Tswanas. Their heritage is of Botswana. So they're not seen as foreigners, because culturally, we actually share the same thing. We eat the same food. We talk the same. The dress is the same.
We've got Ndebeles in Zimbabwe. They are being targeted. We've got the same culture. We eat the same food. You know what I'm saying?
I'll disagree with you. It's not the same. There are slight variations. Whereas with Botswana from Botswana and Tswana from South Africa, there's not much variation. With the Ndebeles and South, there's slight variations. And a lot of people, some people might find it offensive, but it's the truth. Because if you speak 100% Ndebele and I'm speaking Zulu, we'll understand each other, but we'll be saying things differently. And that's the first variation.
It's the same with Sotho and Tswana. It's the same with Sotho and Tswana.
No.
There are some words in Sotho that are not there in Tswana, and vice versa.
No. You saying Sotho. You saying Sotho and Tswana, those are two different things. I'm talking about Sotho and Sotho. Exactly.
And Zimbabwean Ndebele.
Yeah.
That's what I was explaining, not Sotho and Tswana.
Yeah. No, no.
Can I?
Yeah, Tshepo.
This thing as well fascinates me a lot, because I'm Shangani, half Shangani, and you get Shanganis from Maputo, from Mozambique, for example. But I fail to understand. I fail to understand why, as well, the Daveles and the Daveles from Zimbabwe and the Shangani from Mozambique being attacked. I don't know. I just want to understand why Tswana because I also speak Tswana. The Tswana from Botswana and ours in South Africa, it's not the same. They are speaking. It's not the same.
On that, because I like the fact that all of you guys have different comments on that particular subject. But we'd be here the whole night.
Okay.
We'd be here the whole night. So if you guys, I can give you guys 30 seconds each to just round off what you want to say. Okay, Bongani, please.
Oh, I'm done, mate.
Okay.
You're done. Okay. Sello.
I just don't understand the difference between the Ndebele, Zulu, Xhosa, and the Ndebeles in South Africa. What
Okay. I think you have to look at it this way. Look at the word foreign. If something's foreign to you, the Ndebeles are called Ndebeles, Zimbabwean Ndebeles, because they're slightly different from the South African ones. We would be using the same term if they were exactly the same. A Sotho and a Sotho from Lesotho. It's the same term. No one says that's a Sotho from Lesotho. Umsotho. No one says that's a Tswana from South Africa. Tswana.
Yeah, but that's what people have chosen to do. But then the actual difference is not there. You know what I'm saying? If people choose to score one and Ndebele, Zimbabwe and Ndebele and other South African Ndebele, that doesn't mean that people are different.
I think we'll have to come back to this question because Sira, you want to say something? Hold on, breaks, guys, breaks.
That brings me to
I
my
think,
next point.
guys, just to be a mediator and an understanding of the two. I mean, fortunately, us is a fortunate thing that I've got a lot of friends who are Ndebele, Shona, Ndebele South African, Ndebele Zimbabwe. And the point Silo is making here, which I think Bongani either gets it or is playing not to be getting it, is that
he has a right to have his own opinion at the same time.
Absolutely. So I think personally, based on what Silo is saying in regards Ndebele from Zimbabwe and Ndebele and Sotho from Sotho Lesotho, is that the fact that that's recognized, I mean, from talking, I mean, if I was talking to a Ndebele from Zimbabwe, I would know that's Ndebele from Zimbabwe. But if I was talking to a Sotho from Lesotho, I'll just think, oh, that's a Sotho, not from Lesotho, because Lesotho is Sotho. But what way I will know that this Sotho person is different is where I will say, oh, you sound like you're from Mafikeng, or you sound like you're from Joburg, you sound like you're from a different part of South Africa. That will be the accent. I wouldn't say Lesotho from Lesotho, but I say Lesotho from maybe Joburg or Lesotho from Mahikeng. That's the difference in accents.
That's a very
and my understanding.
That's a very defining answer, Sira. Thank you for that. Your 30 seconds is up. We'll come back to this one, guys. This is a very interesting topic. Let's focus on the main one, and it's gonna get a bit I would say heated in here now because we're about to get deep into things. Firstly, who thinks what triggered the xenophobia in South Africa, right? Since we're using the term xenophobia, and or what was the cause? Would anybody like to take that question?
I would.
Okay, Sir, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. The first thing is what triggered it. Okay. I mean, the only way we can know is by listening. Is watching media, listening to speeches. We were not there to see the trigger. I mean, we can speculate, but then we have to look at something that's more real and more fundamental to what triggered it. Okay. I mean, there's been stories that a specific one that I read recently is that I think this would happen with anybody. If I lost a job and then the reason why I lost my job because the next person offered my boss, listen, I'll take half the money and do double the work. Okay? And because, unfortunately, and there's more to it, okay? If we look at deep where it started at the borders. It didn't start with people being in South Africa and people not having jobs. It started at the borders, people coming through borders that shouldn't have come through the borders, or borders not being controlled in a way, okay? So that frustrates people. So because people who come through borders...
What you've just said, doesn't that ultimately mean it's the government's fault because they control the borders?
That's the root of the problem. It's not their fault, it's the root. It's part of the problem. It started there. It doesn't mean just because the government didn't control the borders, so therefore these people in Durban and Joburg and other places should start killing people. No. You know? So when I say it's the government's fault, I'm saying, okay, I'm gonna kill, it's the government's fault. No. I'm saying that's the way it starts. The fact that the people are there, that the people get frustrated with the people that are there is because of how much they're there for. And then obviously, if the people that are taking these jobs, they don't have papers, they don't have, they're not legally, they're not in South Africa legally, so therefore they can't go for a normal job. So the normal
but jobs, not having papers doesn't mean you'll be violent or you'll do what. Some people don't have papers and can't find a job. So whose job are they taking?
Therefore, they take the little jobs. So the people that are the very, very low class of South Africa who do any job for any money. If someone else comes and say, listen, I'll do the same job for even less money. So the business people are, okay, hold on, that's a better deal for me. It's
interesting.
So it's
Bongani, how do you feel about what Sira is explaining as the trigger? I'm sure you probably have a different understanding or different, I'd say, explanation or reason to what you think triggered SA. Please let the people know.
Yeah. Firstly, well, with regard to this recent incident, I personally believe it's the King's speech that caused this, and hence why it all started in Durban.
How many people
I personally believe that when you're going to say something in front of people, you need to know your audience and know how they are bound to receive any message that you are bound to put across. So in this particular incident, I would say I blame the King for starting this whole thing. But it means that this thing was already in people's mind. Some of the reasons are what Sira has given, as obviously the job situation that is in South Africa and all that stuff. People believe that foreigners are taking their jobs and all that. So yeah, to some extent, there's that element. But this latest attacks where the King's fault.
And Sira.
who's lost a job would not be happy about that person, regardless they're foreign or not. If someone went and done that, someone went and done that to another person, human being, that person who's been kicked out of a job because another Zulu guy said, listen, man, I don't need a lot of money. Listen, I'll do the same job for less money, regardless they're foreign or not. I think the act would have happened similar. I think it's because they are foreign. I think now because of the xenophobia, that dislike of foreigners, that just fuels the situation. But I think the anger towards that person who took the job would have happened regardless whether they're foreign or not, but because of the principle itself.
That's quite interesting.
I'd like to
Bambi.
Sira.
Bambi.
What he just said now.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay, we can hear you now. Yeah, I couldn't hear you for a second there. You were getting cut off.
Yeah, like there's a problem with my PC, so I'm using the phone now. That's why you can't see me.
Yeah, I think it's your internet connection. That's yeah. Okay, you can carry on speaking, brother.
No, I say I kind of like agree with what Sira has just said. That even if that person is particularly from South Africa, it can get attacked. I've got few examples, and then it has happened like 2 or 3 years ago, where people from, I think it was in Mpumalanga or Eastern Cape, I can't remember quite well, but I have to check it just to make sure. There were people like, you know, these tenders in South Africa, you get people from, let me say I'm from Pretoria, we get a tender in Eastern Cape. I'm gonna work there, and I'm Tswana or I'm Shangani. Majority of people in the Eastern Cape are Xhosa. You understand? For the fact that I'm Tswana, the people from there, they will complain that I'm taking their jobs. And there were some instances where South Africans are taking each other because of that. You know what I mean? And it never got this attention. I'm not trying to defend xenophobic, what's so-called xenophobic attack, but it has that element of, you know what, you are taking my job, not only because you are a foreigner, because even amongst South Africans, and I'll dig that information and I will share it with you guys, because I'm confident that it did happen, because I was in South Africa by that time, where South Africans were attacking each other. I don't know if you guys from South Africa are aware about it. You know what I mean?
Tshepo, I'm fully aware of it.
Let me jump in.
Okay, yeah, Thapelo, yeah, could you just say a few words for us, please?
Yeah, I think one of the main causes, you see that video that those two guys robbed the gentleman in the camera when he was filming the news.
Uvuyo, the reporter, when he got
mugged.
Yeah.
Yes. You see how, you know, it became such a big thing in the media, and it became such a, like, oh wow, how can they really do that on air? And then it came and it said they were Zimbabwean. So now the whole country looked at them thinking that they're Zimbabwean. Do you understand? So
I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah.
The whole country looks at them like that. There's certain individuals that will look at him in a hateful way, in a despising kind of way.
That's a very important point that you've just said, Thapelo, because, sorry to cut you off, bro, because a lot of, I've been watching social media for a while now, and a lot of South Africans are feeling very isolated, even with their friends who were, and I have to mention this to everyone watching, we're not focusing on South Africa and Zimbabwe because we know there's a lot of other Africans affected, but we don't feel comfortable speaking on somebody else's behalf when we don't have the nationality on board on the panel. So I know, because we South Africans, Zimbabwean here, we'll try to speak about other nationalities, but we just don't want to say the wrong things. So forgive us on this one. I was going to say, Thapelo, because on social media, a lot of South Africans, especially in the UK, maybe some all over around the world, feel as if their friends who they knew from Zimbabwe or some other African countries who they really chilled with have now started labeling them as killers, as people who are doing dogs even, you know. But how does it, I mean, like you just mentioned the whole Vuyo thing, whereby maybe South Africans saw those Zimbabweans after that as criminals or people who rob. Do you think it's fair now that that is happening to South Africans? What do you guys think about that? Like with people who are actually calling other people names just because of an act, but they haven't really done it.
Can I jump in? Sorry, can I jump in, please? Are they 100% sure that those guys were Zimbabweans who robbed what's his name, Vuyo?
Well, it was confirmed by Vuyo himself.
It was, and the police did. I think we, as people here on this panel, can't confirm that.
We can't confirm it all. We only the media.
In
the media have.
I mean, that's the best we can get. We were not in court, but it was confirmed in court.
Okay.
But this is my question. Coming back to my question, guys. As Bongs was waiting to answer that one, what do we think about people now judging even people that, you know, let's say forget where you come from, but obviously South Africans are experiencing it the most, you know? How do you see, Bongs? Do you think it's right that people are judging other people even if they haven't been involved in this?
No, personally, I don't think it's right. You know, as much as you guys have got your criminals and people who think the way they think, we've also got ours. So we're obviously going to have people who just talk before they think, you know. But then as well, there's a certain period when this all starts, when people are like shocked, you know, and angry really. So I'm not just using bad language and shouting matches and all that, but for some people that's the first reaction. And as far as I could see on social media, the South Africans as well were shocked, you know. So it took a while for them to start responding to these insults of not being educated and all that kind of thing, you know. So everybody reacted first and then stood back. But unfortunately, if you don't think, if you're that person who just talks, you might have lost some friends, you know. But that's how things are. And sometimes when such things happen, it's for the best. You get to know who's who in your life. You know what I'm saying? You cut your ties with those who you feel are, because you know it's like someone who's drunk. Someone who's drunk will tell you the truth when they're drunk. You know. And don't think that because they're drunk, they are it's just beer. No, those are true feelings coming out. So you listen, and then when they're sober, you tell them, my friend, no, look, this thing didn't go down well with me. Now I really know what you think. You know, so it's that kind of situation as well. It is also an opportunity for us to examine all the people around us and say, look, oh, so now I know what that person is all about, and that's it with me. If you want to make up and talk about it, that's also fine. But at least you know where your friend stands.
But then, Bongani, would you say this, that with us here in the UK, Zimbabweans and South Africa, do you think that there was already something in the air, and this was the opportunity now that people were airing that air? I say that because the two incidents showed a different side. When South Africans confirmed what the media had said, that those two people who robbed Vuyo were Zimbabweans, suddenly Zimbabweans now were like, how can you guys say that? Why are you highlighting that? And the same thing is happening now, that when foreigners are being attacked, the Zimbabweans coming on and saying, all you South Africans are XYZ, and it's whatchamacallit, it's Zimbabweans being targeted.
Yeah, don't forget that it first came out from the land of South Africa that they were from Zimbabwe. Do you understand? It's not as if it came from anywhere else. Do you understand? So that's where it came from, and that's where it just spread virally through the media, through the systems and everything. And that's when everyone started talking about it and started reading. You know what I'm trying to say? That's how it became like that.
True, I understand. But what I'm not understanding is when the xenophobic attacks happened, all South Africans were labeled that. When, as an example, when the two people...
It's not. There are some people who say people, but that's not on our behalf. You know what I'm saying? As I said to you first, I said there are people who just, in every society, you people also have those people, you know,
general, isn't it?
who always talk before they think, and they don't care. Some people don't even care, but normal people would sit down and look at the situation and then talk. You get my point.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I'm sorry to make this comparison. When it was highlighted that the two guys were Zimbabwean, South Africans didn't stand and say all Zimbabweans are the ones committing the crime in South Africa.
Those two
understand?
Guys.
Yeah, it was those two guys. It was made very clear, and I'm just thinking, you know, it's the way we're looking at things. You know, is there something in the air here in the UK between South Africans and Zimbabweans which hasn't been addressed? And these issues now are actually showing that side of thing. I don't know.
I have to say, earlier on, Bongani did mention something. He did say when somebody decides to speak out, to say something about you, when something like this happens and you have had nothing to do with it, that's it shows the true colors. It means those people were not your friends. Do you know what I mean? Or they actually had an agenda. Anyway, do you know what I'm saying? He didn't mention that answer earlier on, so I have to note that because Bongani cannot speak for the rest of this, and you know what I mean. It's all individual. What I'd like to also mention is, though, guys, you know, I read an article 2 days ago about South Africans who are living in poverty at the moment, who are really living in the squatter camps and everything. And this letter was written, supposedly, allegedly written by a guy who lives there, and he was talking to the middle class. He mentioned that while the South African middle class are saying, "Oh, poor people from foreign country, sorry for this," and they're giving them camps, and certain, let's say 750 or 200 people are in one tent. What about them? What happens to them? Because they're still living in those circumstances. The middle class doesn't live with the violence every single time. You know, they feel as if the foreigners have come in and try to take a piece of what little they have. Do you think that's reason enough to actually start violence, or is it because those guys are uneducated, because they haven't actually been out of maybe their city or an area, so they're not integrated? Do you think also integration is a very big issue, or is it just them?
I think the foreign itself, I mean, Tshepo touched on this thing about people coming from different provinces in South Africa, working in different provinces, and then obviously having that little confrontation. Like I've got a perfect example with my own stepdad himself. He's building houses up somewhere in Limpopo, and decided to say, lo mkhosi, lona ufair vote, I want things like that, and that happens now. But that guy mentioned there on the story that you read, I think I might have come across it as well, is I think whether those people who came in and took little of what they had in the first place, whether they were Zimbabweans, Namibian, Kenyan, Nigerian, whether they were that or not, they would feel the same way because they are foreign. They've come to my place, whether they're from down the road in a different, actually, not even as far as going to a different province, as far as from a different part of the same province. They've come all the way from let's say, Endle to come as Pingo to come and take what little we have. So let them go back to where they come from down the road. So I think whether the frustration here is because when it becomes xenophobia and then it becomes labeled as what it is, as South Africans or these South Africans, barbarians going against people like that, is because the people that do actually come and take off little of what they have, unfortunately, are foreigners. So therefore, when that happens, it becomes genocide, xenophobia, and whatever the media decides to call it.
I hear that, but I'll ask you this question. So what do we say about South Africans who are foreign in other countries as well? Are we going to judge them the same?
Guys, can I ask you something before you go on? What stops a South African taking that little? For example, if you look at these guys who open up spaza shops and all that stuff, what stops someone who lives there from opening up something for themselves? Someone else who's coming in as a refugee with nothing on their back will come there and open up the shop. What stops that local person from doing the same thing?
Bongani, hello, can I jump in on that?
Go on.
On that particular issue of, I heard a lot of people talking the way that you are saying, oh, why people, they cannot open their barber shop, or they can't do what other foreigners are doing. I'll give you an example, my brother. There are guys from South Africa, not all, there are guys who have been doing this barber shop for a long time. There are guys who've been selling vegetables on the street for a long time. You have to understand something. I'm not going to talk about mainly of Zimbabweans. I'm going to talk about the rest of foreigners, like your Pakistani guys. Those guys, they come in again. They a gang, like a group of maybe, let me say 10 or 15. When they go and buy stuff, they buy stock at a large quantity. So local people, it's hard for them to compete with them. You understand? And then that's the other reason why their business failed, because they cannot keep up with the other Africans or other nationalities. You know what I mean? And not only that, the other reason you can say, why don't you South African guys join together and work together? We don't like to work together. Even here, we don't work together. It's a fact. You understand? It's a fact. I'm not trying to justify it's wrong. You understand? If we come as South African, work together and open up spaza shops so that we can go and buy in bulk. Because you can't compete with those guys. I'm telling you, it's hard. Their prices are so low. That is why most of these shops, of South African shops, they are closing down because they can't keep up with the competition. You understand? And the other day you raised an issue of education as well. Some of them, they don't have the skill of counting books well, you know, preparing books. That is why they don't prosper. You understand? These guys, when they come here to South Africa, they already had a plan. You understand? And they execute their plan well.
That's a very passionate answer. Very passionate answer.
I've answered your question, Bongani.
That's a very.
Yeah, you have. So that points to the finger at the government. Then the government needs to do something for these people to be able to set them up and all that stuff.
Coming back to the government, thank you for raising that. I was going to say to Thapelo, do you think the government was too slow? Sorry for cutting you off, man. Do you think the government was too slow in reacting to the first initial attacks?
Well, the government has been very slow for many years, for a few decades right now. Well, they were very slow to react on this one socially, and over the internet, media, and all of that. They could have stopped it. They could have dimmed it down so the whole world wouldn't really be focusing on Africa that much. And
what would have been a fast? What would have been a fast reaction? Let's say from you, if the government, what would you like the government to do in the first few days? Because some people, I'm sure we have some panelists here. I'll go to Sello, who mentioned that police were deployed. You know, police were deployed.
I think that's the thing we have to look at. There was, at first, I guess government didn't know how big this was going to break out, but it was first seen as a criminal act, and that's what it is. Murdering someone, first stances, is a criminal act, and the people who deal with that is the law, which is the police. You know, so at no point was it mentioned that the police are struggling. I might be wrong, but I didn't read anywhere where it said that the police are struggling. It was said police were being sent in, and they were trying to control the situation. You know, we have a large police force. They were there. They were trying their best. I think you can't stop every incident happening. We hear in the UK where there's police everywhere, but incidents still happen because the police cannot be there at every incident. So I think the first stage, yes, government did what was needed to do. Police was to put law and order. So I think in that instance, I don't think that they were slow. You mentioned, Thapelo, that they could have stopped this whole thing spreading, but my question is, how do you stop media reporting on something? How do you stop social media on spreading something? There's no government in the world who's been able to do that, unless you're in China and then you cut off the internet, you know, or you cut off Facebook.
Like I said before, in order for something to become popular, it needs to be advertised. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The media is the greatest and biggest advertising company in the world, or should I say,
let's say the media is the most powerful, but what about people who can't read, people who don't have Facebook, people who don't have Twitter, etc.? So how are they motivated to, or how are they brainwashed, as you would call it?
I mean,
they get word of mouth from media.
I know you spoke about then the government being slow. to react, and the government are always going to be the easier people to blame. And the moment we start doing that, we don't look at the solutions and what we could have done ourselves.
Yeah.
People, I think the government was caught off guard. Anyone and the police were caught off guard themselves, because where this actually started in a very small township somewhere in a spaza shop where the people of that particular place were actually they were on strike, and then the boss had to employ a lot more people, and then the people that were on strike were now attacking these new employees. How dare you get employed when we are striking? It's happened South Africa. If ShowBright people are striking, and then when you go and get the job, you go work in ShowBright, you're in big trouble.
And
which means you're accepting what they didn't accept, which means you are happy to replace them. So that happened.
Exactly.
The people who have been actually employed were not foreigners. Okay, the employer has an anti-foreign thing going on about his employees.
I hear that. So out of all of this, what do we think would be a great solution? We need to really find a solution for everyone.
You mean solution in terms of
South Africa moving forward with the rest of Africa, because there's a lot of hatred and anger coming from all angles. So how do we try to solve the issue?
I'm just gonna hit it on the nail. I'm just gonna say it straightforward. Yeah. What happened? What are we supposed to do as South Africans? Firstly, we should refrain and stop, because I see now a lot of South Africans, what they are doing, they are pointing at the Zulus. We should stop it. It's wrong. Why I'm saying that? There was some incident in Eastern Cape where taxi drivers and bus drivers, they're having a problem. They were killing each other. And then we as a nation, we stood together. But on this instance of xenophobic attack, we as South Africans, we have a lot of South Africans, they are pointing fingers at the Zulus. It's wrong. We should stand together and say, guys, come on, this is a crisis that is affecting us, all of us. So let's stand together and unite and work together with other African people. You know what I'm saying? For example, Lucas Radebe, he's dead now. The whole of South Africa is mourning his death. They don't say, oh, he's Tswana or he's Pedi or he's what. That's the point that I'm trying to make. You know what I'm saying? So we need to stand together. Like, for example, this thing of his Shangani or his Venda, his what, you know? It doesn't matter if it's the king who is, what they say is the king who instigated the thing. We should stand together and fight this evil thing called xenophobic, so that it don't happen again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a lovely Sello.
To identify what the solutions are, because if the solutions were that easy, government would be implementing them. This is an embarrassment to South Africa. They would not ignore this fact. So I think you have to look at it in two ways. You need to look at short-term solutions. And short-term solutions would be, for now, we need to control these attacks, make sure that they're not happening. You know? So government will now have to be more prepared to say, okay, when it does happen, because you're not going to know when it's going to happen again, how do we act? You know? Let's learn lessons from this. Let's learn lessons from 2008 that if it does happen, because we can't control what people do, let's be better prepared to deal with it. So that's the short-term solution. Long-term, I think it's going to be harder, because a lot of people are saying this is caused by people being angry, the inequality in South Africa. They say you need to sort that out first. And that's going to take a long time before it's sorted, you know. But the core of it, yes, is that. Because South Africans are saying, hey, you know what, I'm here, I don't have much, and you're asking me now to share it with everyone else. Or people are coming into the country and also want a piece of that, you know. Like what you mentioned, they're seeing South Africa as the promised land, when someone who's in the so-called promised land is saying, I've got nothing, and people are coming in to take it. So I think it's also sorting out those social issues is going to be very important. It's a hard job. You have to understand our democracy is only just over 20 years old. We have a lot to deal with as a country, you know, because
Yeah,
No,
carry on,
carry on,
Sello.
sorry.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, I do believe that there's a sense of belief that South Africa has no issues, and us as South Africans, we also do portray that. But is it because, do you think, that we used to seeing violence in certain places that we immune to it, therefore we don't make such a big racket? Therefore, when people come in, they think it's going to be perfect and there's no crime, but these things happen all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's not unique to South Africa. You know, loads of other countries in the world have crimes. You know, horrible crimes. Yes, South Africa, we've given media a lot of freedom, so our ill acts are exposed more. So we shouldn't look at this as a South African problem. I think yes, it's said we have the highest crime in the world, but I think you have other countries who have the same issue. You know, so it's not unique to South Africa.
Oh, thank you for that, man. Yeah. Sindiso, I'd like to get your point of view.
Just on this finalizing, yeah, I think we must not paint a rosy picture of South Africa. That's the first thing. What's happening in South Africa is wrong. But the reason why there's 3 million foreign nationals in South Africa is because most of the other African countries are unfortunately dysfunctional, okay, and are unable to cater a prosperous livelihood for their citizens. Hence, people move to where the grass is greener. That goes, you know. Yes, South Africa, obviously, it has its violence, as Sello said. It's got all these big things. But the question we should be asking ourselves today is how do we unite Africans to rid the African continent of conflict? You know, there's conflict, hunger, corruption, dictatorship, and all these other things. That's where we're going to have to start. We need to attack the root of the problem. Because we cannot attack it from above now. Obviously, we have to prepare for it when it happens. But we need to look at the very small things. And those are the main things. Like I said, conflict, hunger, corruption, dictatorship, and all these things not needed to progress in all Africans. So in order for us to progress and actually be able to unite, we need to be united against those 3 things over there: corruption, hunger, and conflict. Once we unite against those things, everything else will become one.
And then, Sira, some people in South Africa would say, I know there's this big dream, as you just said, which Africans should unite, but they'll say we should fix our own issues at home before we can actually try to help the rest of Africa, or actually work. Let me not say help, work with the rest of Africa. Do you understand that side of thinking?
Absolutely, but then in order to implement, I think in order to implement the attacking in order to implement the better or to improve on these things, it will have to start with the government. So what we need to fight, we need to unite and fight. Those are the main things. You know, there's no point fighting the riches. There's no point fighting the middle class. We need to unite and fight against poverty, fight against corruption, conflict, and dictatorship. Once we fight those things, because it all comes from there. Corruption causes these things. If we've got a corrupt government, you know what I mean? People who are hungry will not be fed. People who are causing crimes will not be dealt with.
Oh, nice. Thank you for that one, bro. Yes, do you want to say something, Tshepo, quickly?
I just want to add on something that you just said. When you say somebody in South Africa can just say, oh, you need to solve your problem before you help another person. I can say to that person, no, we are we are living in a globalization. You know, this globalization, you know, so we have to work together, because your problem in your country can affect me. So it doesn't matter, even if I need your help. For example, what is happening here in those immigrants who are dying from the sea. You know,
the Mediterranean.
The problem is hitting Italy strong. But Italy is saying, you guys come and help me. And they are coming and helping, like your likes of France, Great Britain and stuff like that. They don't say, okay, solve your problem.
Solve your problems and send you back. And
send those people, and then we will work together. So you can't run away. Even though you've got a problem in your house, we have to be together.
Exactly. I like that. I wanted to say this. Bongs, you'll be the last one today. I wanted to speak to Thapelo. He said something very inspiring to me yesterday, and I think all of us on the panel were quite happy to hear that. He mentioned South Africa's national anthem, and I'd just like him to just close on that and just tell us what he was talking about yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I was talking with a panel, and this inspiration came to me, really inspiring me to be on the panel myself and to really share this thought to the world, to share this thought to South Africa, and may our spirits be moved on to the land of Africa as well. The national anthem is the anthem that we established after we what apartheid end. You see, so the first line of the national anthem says Nkosi sikelele Afrika. It talks as Africa as a whole. It talks of umuntu ngumuntu ngabanye. It talks of ubuntu.
Do you hear that, guys?
It talks of all the languages that are in Africa.
Precise. It's not Nkosi sikelela iMzansi Afrika. It's Nkosi sikelele Afrika.
And sorry, I'm just going to jump in quickly. That national anthem used to be the majority of African countries used to sing that in their own languages.
Exactly.
So
we were united before by that. Even Zimbabwe.
We can do it again.
Yeah.
See, I think that's a brilliant idea, guys. We can. That's a common ground. We can unite again. Baby steps. It won't be easy, but we can do it. Do you know what? All of us here on the panel, as we hear, we're just trying to make sure that people see that there is a way out of this. You know, besides anger, let's look at the positive, even if it's the smallest positive, and make it a big positive. Do you see what I'm saying?
Just before we end, Siviwe, I think I've got a poem that I would like to share. It goes like this: I'm an African, not an Afrikaner. I'm from Ghana, the original Black Star. We don't care about the fake David Star. Check my forehead, I'm from Somalia. Check my hair, straight from Ethiopia. My lips, yes, I'm from Nigeria. I'm a short man, you can tell I'm from Uganda. I've got a pretty smile, straight from Kenya. I'm an African, not an Afrikaner. I'm from the blues as much as I'm from Botswana. Nah, I don't speak Tswana, but brother, Hebrew will make your speech wiser. Let's learn about the first main language in Africa. We all speak it. We were all of the same speech. Even God said there's nothing we cannot do.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well done, bro. Well done. That's very inspiring, man. That's very inspiring. We need more things like that, you know.
Yeah.
And Bongs.
Yeah, folks.
Yes, bro.
Right.
What do you think?
My solutions now. Firstly, I'd like to ask everybody on Facebook, can you just stop this mudslinging? It's just getting ridiculous now. We're trying to look for solutions. Most of us who are doing this are not even in South Africa at the moment. So that's the first thing. Can we just please stop? You know, if you've got nothing positive to say, just let it go. All right. Secondly, guys, whether we like it or not,
Say nothing.
South Africa needs to put more money in education. It will help. You know, Ncube, we always say bad things about him, but no one will object and tell me that what he did for us was wrong. You know, unfortunately, we're not in our country. It happens, but Zuma needs to invest in education. You know, people need to go to school, university, if possible, free. You know what I'm saying? Because some people can't afford to go to university, but they've got that will to do that.
That's because the ANC doesn't own the central bank of South Africa. So
I think
that's
discussion for another topic.
I
Right,
think
the other one is the king.
hey,
The king needs to get an advisor. I mean, if he's gonna say stuff out there, you know, someone needs to check what he's saying.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Getting that vibe. Yeah, man.
I'm not disrespecting him. He's saying his piece, but look at what has happened out of all this, you know. And then the other thing is these policies that Zuma and even Mbeki support. You know, Zimbabwe could have been alright if Mbeki and Zuma, you know, had put Gabe in the right line to say, look, brother, this is not what we did ask for help from them, and what we called was Zimbabwe will sort itself out. But look what is happening now. If Zimbabwe was alright right now, all those Zimbabweans that you see, most of them anyway, that you see in South Africa, would be back home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have to be a Zimbabwean, or you have to be in Zimbabwe to understand why we cannot have. I know most people will say, "Oh, why don't you go back there and sort it out?" It doesn't happen that way. It's like you asking a Syrian to go to Syria and sort Syria. Something will happen to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not. You guys are lucky. You can survive. And you know, and all that stuff. Nothing, you know what I'm saying? There's more freedom of speech, but not in my country, my friend. That doesn't happen.
This guy, you know what?
Those are the solutions that are in this short time that I'd recommend. That, you know, all those things need to be looked into. I mean, people are poor. There are some poor people in South Africa who live in all those nkukus and all. Those people are angry people. They need to see things happening. And if those things don't happen, people like the EFF are going to be even more popular. And you won't like it when shit hits the fan, for lack of a better word. And it will be big, because in your country, when something happens, it happens big. You know what I'm saying? So these guys need to get all these things sorted out before it's too late. That's my opinion, and not a Zimbabwean opinion, just my opinion.
I have to admit, your guys' solutions are very heated. I'd actually like to say that you guys, you know, we have to mention this. Your opinions are your own and not of this panel. We just have to quote on that. And I just want to say, I support what Bongs was saying in relation to social media is very dangerous. It's very dangerous, guys. And if not used correctly, a lot of people will more violence will occur. I personally have seen many videos or pictures uploaded online which are totally different matters to what is happening. I always say, if the information is correct, share it, because people need to see it to know what's going on. Make sure you research the information that you share, because we don't want to add fuel to the fire. We all want to make sure this is worked out and make sure we have a united Africa for everyone. You know, guys, please, if you don't, at this moment, if you're angered, or from any other country in Africa and you're angered at South Africans, fair enough. But don't add fuel to the fire, because we were once united, as that song says. So I'll just ask everyone to just take notes. I hope people can comment and let us know what they thought of the show. There's actually, we're meant to have visitors who are going to say a few words. I can't seem to find them at the minute. Let me just see. But yeah, guys, as I said, we are not professionals in this. We are people who just also see things on social media and then research them. If you want to be on this panel, hopefully next time, just let us know. But we're not going just yet. We're still going to try to get the guests on board. And I think somebody else wants to say something. Sindiso?
Yeah, that I mean, you're making a very, very, very good point there at the end of your speech. So, but on a serious note, people share stuff and think, oh my God, people are dying. They're adding fuel to the fire, and there's a very specific one, which has not just been added; it's actually been photoshopped. You know, it's something that happened in Tunisia. You know, it's a famous one. It's a big one. Even people are putting it on photos. I was sent a poster by someone saying, "Oh, March for Xenophobia," and they're putting a fake picture, which is photoshopped with 2 South African police at the back of Muhammad, who actually who burned himself, who was a vendor from Tunisia. He burned himself alive in protest of how he was in Tunisia.
Yeah.
And then people took that picture and photoshopped it and put 2 South African police and the Mikuku and Sheikhs behind. I think besides the researching and everything and knowing what's happening, I think people need to be very, very careful, because this thing is big. People are hurt. People are hurting. People are thinking evil things. And the more you put these images, you're fueling the evil in these people's minds to do even bigger acts.
Yeah.
Sindiso, I'm just going to add like 1 minute. I think you've raised a good point. What I found difficult is, even though you try and expose that picture like you've explained it now, people seem like they don't want to hear that. They actually want that to be assigned to what's happening in South Africa. That's what I find very strange. Because you see, you've clearly explained everything now. Someone will look at it and saying, ignore all that. Let's just carry on and say that's what's happening in South Africa. So I asked myself, why would someone want to do that? You know, what is the intention? From the person who created the picture to the person who ignores that, you've just clarified that that picture actually is not in relation to what's happening in South Africa. So,
can I jump on that? I think again the other issue why these people Sello, even though you are showing them that this picture is wrong, the Photoshop or whatsoever. I think there's been a lot of photos that they have seen, and then they don't even think straight now. They are so angry. You know, when somebody's angry, it's so difficult to convince him or her. For example, the incident in Israel and Palestine, you can't convince both parties that let us to, you know, because both of them, they are angry. You know, I don't blame them, because at the moment, what I'm thinking, let us not put blames on each other. All I can say, as a panel, we have been watched by people. Let us try to bring peace. That's all I'm asking, you know, because we don't know what is going to happen to South Africa. We are not a fortune tellers. Tomorrow, there might be a disaster.
That's what I said. That's what I said as well. This national anthem is going to bring us together, and it's really going to make us remember where we really started from and who we really are. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to really bring us together and unite as brethren and as countries. And, you know, we stop all this violence, we stop all this corruptness, we stop everything and just let God take control. We need God back in our countries. We need God back in our lives. That's the ultimate goal.
And I think everybody at the moment just wants it to be sorted, and people can see a better Africa altogether. So I would just say this: instead of focusing on the events right now and the negative events, why don't we be the change, and let's vision when all of this is gone and Africa is building and booming everything. Why don't you work towards that? Take all the anger and all that passion, and let's work on uniting. Imagine if we hated it because we united each other. We were so united that we hated each other. Do you understand? Like, let's take that hate and make it
Yeah, folks. I'm just going to go on a tangent here. Tomorrow we're in London. For all those who are listening and guys in the panel, 11 o'clock we're doing it in London. So please, whoever's got time, whoever can afford to cancel their shift, can you just please come and we do this thing? And I guess it's the beginning of change, really. As you guys are saying, we can do this, you know. I'm sure we've just displayed as well on this YouTube thing that you don't have to fight all the time. You know, you can have a conversation and agree and disagree on other issues. So
true. You mentioned it's a thing. I think you need to clarify. If I'm someone who doesn't know you, what are you talking about?
Happening in London.
What is this?
Oh yeah, no. We're handing a petition over to the South African embassy. So it's going to be from Mandela's the statue of Mandela to the embassy there. So That's what it is. It's not a demonstration. It's just like representation. I don't even know what to really term it. It's the flyers going on around Facebook really. So yeah, bring your flag and bring your voice. We need the support. South
So
Africans,
yeah.
Zimbabwe, Kenyans, Zambia, everybody's welcome.
Okay, sorry, Bongs. I'm gonna go back on. I'm not having a go with you, but with someone who doesn't know, it would need more clarity. You're saying, "Come along, bring my flag. We're handing over a petition." What is on the petition? What is being said? Who has signed it? Where can I sign it? Because people want to know that. I can't get up tomorrow and attend something which is not 100% clear what's it about. You know.
Okay, you know what I'll do for people who are interested. I don't know where you're posting all this stuff. For example, where you posted what we're doing tonight. I'll give the details to V, and then people can see it from there. Yeah, but it's basically for the South African government to take control of this situation, to make sure this thing doesn't happen again. Because you know, this is the third time. This is the third time it has happened, and we don't want it to happen in the fourth time. You never know. The next time it might be of even greater proportions, really. So it just has to stop. Whatever the problem is, needs to be solved. You know what I'm saying?
And I'd just like to say as well, I may be repeating myself, we have to remember, guys, there's a lot of people. Oh, our visitors just joining now, Cesar. There's a lot of people in South Africa, even all over the world, who are actually helping. Let's not forget them. Let's thank them, although the media is not showing them as much, because remember, negativity sells. Let's remember these guys who are actually pushing the positive. Sorry, Tshepo, do you want to say something?
Yeah. No, all I'm saying is like I'm adding on what you were just saying now, V. Yeah. There was a march yesterday, a big march, you know, where South Africans were marching and then demonstrating. People, they are not saying anything, even on social network media. So I'm quite disappointed. And again, we've seen certain people protecting from Tokoza, where Kasiku is coming from. They've been protecting foreign nationals, you know, but they are not saying anything. All they are looking at is negativity, and that brings us, does not give us a way forward, you know.
Obama hasn't even spoken about it.
I think you're taking it too far. Robert Mugabe hasn't spoken about it. He's across the border, dude. Let's not even go far.
You know. What I'd like to say, guys. Okay, we have to cut this off now. We have to cut this off quickly because we were meant to be here for only an hour, but as you can see, it's gone over. Cesar is in the group. Cesar, can you hear us? Hello. It seems that he can't hear us at the moment, so we're gonna give him like till past. If then guys, I just want to say to all of you, thank you for being on the panel. Very interesting views, and all together we can change this, you know, or what little we can change. Thapelo, your troublemaker. Bongani, thank you for the wise words. Bambi, thank you very much, man. You were more political than us today. We have Sello. I see you starting to nod off, but your views have been
very funny
on point, man. Sindiso, I think you should have listened. This guy talks too much. He overrides the host at times. So, and then, yeah, guys, I just want to thank you very much. I mean, like, as I said, this is all of us. We're coming together to I mean, like, we can have 2 people watching this. It's making a change. Somebody else is going to talk about this somewhere, you know? So I just want to thank you guys very much. Cesar, are you there yet? Okay, you're still not there. 3 more minutes, guys. Any last words that anybody wants to say?
I think you said you wanted a female view as well, and
yeah,
important for that to happen. And I just want to say, I want to ask everyone who's been watching to please maybe have the confidence, or just even try, see whether we can have another point of view. I mean, we speak for ourselves, you know. We don't speak for another kids or whatnot. We speak for ourselves.
Yeah.
We'd like to hear other people point of views, either on the comment at the bottom, or just try to join us for the next discussion that we might have on this point. But V, thank you very much for putting this together.
Haha, technology.
Had the guts to ask to be part of it, and I mean, it's something that I think none of us have ever done before. We might have been the worst, but you know what? It starts here, guys. It starts here. Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, guys. Just want to say again to everyone watching, thank you for watching. Hopefully next week you'll have another debate. Just let us know. I mean, like, we're on Facebook. And then I'm trying to think how well, if you just comment on this video below or share it as much as you can. Let's get the discussion talking. As Bongs mentioned, tomorrow there'll be a walk in London, a peaceful protest. Please, if you can attend, be there. And guys, let's talk. Let's just talk. And thank you to everyone assisting, everyone who's been affected with these attacks in South Africa. And you know what? Let's not just think South Africa. Let's just go all of Africa, you know, and just try to heal the whole continent, guys. Bambi?
I just want to thank everybody who came here and participate. You know, it takes a lot of courage for us to come in and do this, you know, because some of us, they can blame us or badmouth us, but we said, no, we're going to fight this monster called xenophobic attack. So I really respect you, all of guys who have joined us, you know, and participate on this program. And again, I just want to thank you, V, for putting us together. You did a wonderful thing. And I think in the near future, we also need to talk about uplifting each other as Africans in the UK, because some of us, we are in business, you know. So we need to talk about our businesses and how we can uplift each other, how I can support V, how can V support me, how can Sira support me, how can Sello support me, how can
Bongani, Thapelo, musician at our event.
You know what I mean? So those are the issues that face us as Africans. So we need to touch on those things that affect us. Thank you.
For the
I'd just like to say thank you guys for keeping it civil.
Okay. Thank you very much, guys. I guess we tried to get Sisa on here, but we can't hear anything, so we have to go. Oh yes, guys.
I've got an idea. Since we couldn't get Sisa, why don't you read out one of the questions, which if anyone commented, and maybe just for 1 minute someone answers that, because then that will be a different perspective. Because so far it's been us talking.
Yeah.
We don't know what the public have to say. We didn't get Sisa. Maybe there's a comment on there. Which,
we actually do have a comment. Very interesting. I have to read out by Regina Mahlangu. Thank you, Regina, for actually commenting. Regina says, Bongani mentioned that the South African government needs to invest in education, since it's not everyone who can afford to study at university. Can you clarify his statement? Bongani?
Yeah, as I said, I mean, I did say, just like they have Osira there in Scotland, these guys are not paying anything for their university. So some stuff like that can be done. We're down here in England are paying, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, if people are willing to go to school, they shouldn't be paying for it. They should find that money from somewhere else, you know? That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, I forgot to jump on that one, my brother. I was a student in Technicon Pretoria. I didn't have money to go to school. My government gave me a loan, you know, like student finance loan, where I did. They paid my fees, you know. So it's not that the government is not doing enough. They are providing us. I don't want to lie to you. There's a thing called TEFSA. Other people, they don't want to go to school. Information is there. You know, it's there. It's there. People, they don't want to see. I'm being honest. I'm a product of TEFSA. I'm a graduate of TEFSA, and I've paid them. I don't owe them.
I have to say that was an interesting, very informative answer. But thank you very much, Regina Mahlangu. I think, guys, you know, we want to, you know, I love it. somebody has just commented and asked us something. That's what we need. We don't know everything. Speak to us, please. You know, we learned something from you as well. And thank you, Regina Mahlangu, once again for commenting. It's a sad time, guys, but I have to say, Thapelo, do you want to say something? This is the last final.
Do. You know, since apartheid, the ANC was appointed to pay 4.5 billion a year as debt.
I think Sisa is here. I can see Sisa.
Okay.
So all that money could have contributed into education, better civilization, and better ways of living in Africa.
I totally hear you on that. What do you guys think about Thapelo saying?
I think I think due to the time and commitments that we had, I think it's important we in the panel and we adhere to that. I think if we could listen to what Cesar had for the quick comments, and then maybe we can wrap it up and state the link on our Facebook page.
Okay, Cesar, what would you like to say, brother?
I'd like to say, guys, my name is Cesar to everybody. Yeah, I'm from Cape Town. I've lived here as well in London for over 20 years. And yeah, it's very saddening what is happening back home. I think what you guys are discussing, I wish like more people would listen to this debate, and if they could hear like how also we guys as South Africans feel about what is happening back home. And I think there's more that you know, the government that can do to be able to assist what is happening back home.
You know, that's a very good view, and I think you would Jabu there as well. Is Jabu there with you? Hey, Jabu.
That's Jamal.
Oh, what would you like to say, bro?
Jamal.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. Brothers, I agree to this evening, and I've been listening, and I'm happy that I think we had a technical difficulty, so I'm happy that.
Can you please get the microphone closer to you and switch off the YouTube on the laptop, please? We can't hear you.
Okay, bro. Can you hear me then?
Yeah, we can hear you perfectly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, good. I've listened to everybody, and everybody agrees on one point. We are against attacks to foreigners, okay? And people have mentioned what has caused these attacks. We should all agree on them as well. But me, I would like to concentrate on what the attacks have caused. That's the first point I really want to say.
Yeah,
the attacks have caused enmity among all Africans. The attacks have caused looking at each other with a third eye, looking at each other with judgmental element. The greatest example I'm going to give you, on social media, especially Facebook, people are called upon South Africa to be stoned, to be dropped bombs upon, you understand? That's what these attacks have caused right now, you understand? So I just want to make one thing clear between the South African nationals and our fellow African brothers and in the diaspora, you understand? The so-called these attacks are on the reason so-called people are taking our jobs and all that, you understand? I think it's total nonsense, you understand?
Exactly.
Or it's something that we shouldn't focus our debate on, you understand? Let me take it out now
Let me take you back to the past for just these few seconds.
I'll give you 2 minutes, brother. I'll give you 2 minutes, then we cut him off.
Okay. When our activists left South Africa to skip abroad, when they settled in those countries, you understand? They settled there with safety and security granted by those governments. But they were put in a place whereby they will live securely as humans, but do not interfere with the locals. Let the locals get jealous and form this what's called today Olumila Belungu is xenophobia. You understand?
Yeah.
Abroad, and then now, if I take it back on our home soil in South Africa, right? The mistake that have happened in the past was to stop or not to even start regulating the foreign brothers and sisters that are coming in.
Yeah.
From the border.
And your last and to close it up, brother, your solution would be for everyone to unite. I think what you just mentioned, we'll have to talk about it on another debate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, I just want to say to everyone, thank you very much for watching. Our guests actually at the end were quite informative. Bongani, thank you very much for giving us your input, your opinions. Tshepo, thank you very much. Sello, thank you very much. Sindiso, thank you very much. And then thank you to Thapelo as well. And we'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Let us know what you want us to talk about, and to everyone who commented and watched us. Let's talk. See you soon.